Coming to you from the Black Swan Media Studios, this is Fireside Chats, talking to the real difference makers in the world. Now, here is your host, John Crump.
Well, it is kind of early. We usually go live at 10 o'clock, but we've been changing it up for a little bit. For the month of August, at least, for the next couple of weeks. We'll probably be changing it up and going a little bit earlier than our 10 o'clock start time, just because families in town and stuff like that. But I don't want to neglect doing this at all. So we are doing this right now. My name is John Crump. I'm the Virginian Director for Gun Owners of America. I am a writer for AmmoLand.com, and I also have a book out. This book right here, all proceeds go to my niece who is battling brain cancer. It's called DIPG. It's a very bad cancer, but we are going to get her through. We're going to fight right along with her. Basically, all my Patreon, which you can hit me up at patreon.com/John Crump. Also have a PayPal too, paypal.me/JohnCC, and there's a GoFundMe if you go to crumpy.com/GoFundMe, and you can always get the book at crumpy.com/Giants. We are brought to you today by guncritic.com. Guncritic.com is a very unique thing, and we'll talk about that in a second, and Gunstreamer. You probably are familiar with Gunstreamer, but I want to get my guest in here before too long. He is known as the Pew Pew Jew, and I see Rich out there. Comments don't seem to be coming through, but Rich says that gun control is not kosher, and I'm pretty sure my guest will agree. And his name is Yehuda. The Pew Pew Jew.
There we go. That works.
He's a gun rights activist, and also he has some children's books about guns as well. I really want to get into that. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show at such short notice, and I wanted to see how you're doing.
I mean, I live in Texas, and, fighting the good fight out here, and just trying to stay sane in an insane world.
Yeah, they're trying to flip Texas.
Oh, God, so badly.
I heard that there's a lot of ads going on out there.
There is, and unfortunately, our governor, out of nowhere, since Corona started, has become a absolute left-leaning mindset with a lot of his actions, putting his clout behind members who are running for different, offices here, putting his clout behind liberal-minded people instead of, conservative mind. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward in 2020.
Yes, a couple different things. Do you know Flying Rich?
I can't say I do, and if he follows me on social media, and I don't recognize him, I do apologize.
He wants to know if you're the only Jew in Texas. He's also Jewish.
I know there's actually a bunch of Jewish communities throughout Texas. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio's got a pretty small one, but Houston and Dallas have some pretty big ones.
Yeah, Flying Rich is a cool guy. He's from Florida. His name is Flying Rich, but he's crashed 3 planes, so I think he should be known as Crashing Rich. And Beth Alcazar is out there. I don't know if you know Beth or not.
Yes, very well. I absolutely adore Beth.
Beth is awesome. She's been on the show, and she says her kids love your book, and so does she.
Awesome. I love that.
In a little bit. But one thing that I want to know, are you familiar with Gun Critic at all? We got to do the ads.
I'm not actually. I'm not familiar with Gun Critic.
Are you familiar with Gunstreamer?
Yes.
Gun Critic is the company that came in and purchased the majority of Gunstreamer to keep them afloat.
Okay.
Gun Critic is a really cool company. They're kind of like Rotten Tomatoes, if you're familiar with movies where they do like an aggregate score. And that's kind of what they do at Gun Critic. They take an aggregate score of all the opinions on a firearm and they put it up there. So you're not getting opinions from a single point of contact. You're getting opinions from not only writers like me, but you're getting opinions from the average everyday folks that just go out and shoot.
That's very interesting, actually. I'm definitely gonna check them out. So yeah, definitely Gun Critic.
Yeah. So check them out, everyone. You see a little streaming at the bottom. So I want to get into your books really quick because I've been going through them. I was not aware that you have them out, and they are really, really cool. And one is edited by Jackie Billings, who is an editor at guns.com, I believe.
Yeah, Jackie. When my first book came out in 2017, January of 2017, it's called Safety On. And it's an introduction to the world of firearms for children. Yeah, that's the one. And I didn't know anybody in the industry. I mean, I literally came out of nowhere. Really, no one. And I started trying to do research on who I can reach out to. And I went to guns.com because I'd been following them for a while. So I started doing research a little into the writers, like who would be a good writer to reach out to. And I saw Jackie's name and I started following her on social media and I realized she had kids. So I immediately reached out to her and was like, hey, I wrote a children's book on firearm safety. Do you want to review it for me? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And we just struck up a very close friendship to the point where she is now my editor. She's done two books. One book is published. The other one I'm trying to find funding for. But she's awesome. I talk to her a lot, and she's got a very special place in my heart.
Now, you wrote the books, but did you also illustrate them, or did you get an illustrator?
Oh, I 100% got an illustrator. I can't even draw a proper stick figure without ruining that. So I found the illustrator, and he is fantastic.
Yeah, that is awesome. The book is awesome. Yes, let me just handle this. Chris, I've been looking for your message, and I was afraid that I missed it. Don't worry, I have your patch pulled out. It's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, just hit me up when you move, if you want the patch after you move or not. For everyone out there, if you do a $5 super chat, you can get a really cool patch. I got a whole thing. Hold on, let me just grab one really quick. And I'll get you one. You don't even have to do it. Right there. It says no quarter for tyrants. The Virginia logo is the Virginia motto is Sic Semper Tyrannis, which means thus always the tyrants, and that's basically pirate talk for Sic Semper Tyrannis with a little Blackbeard logo on there.
That's awesome.
With some other stuff, and we have one left for $10 super chat, or also you can also do. I must have hit something. That's weird. Or you can also do a Patreon. You can get this one. I have one gold and black GOA shall not be infringed 2020 patch left. So yeah, and all funds go to my niece who is battling DIPG. So let me get back into the books. I'm really curious about this. What made you decide to
do books?
So I've always been very interested in creative writing for years. My parents took away the TV when I was 5. I'm 36 now. So I didn't grow up watching TV. I became a very, very ardent reader at a very young age. Reading, by the time I was in high school, I was reading between 1,000 to 2,000 pages a week. So I just huge reader, loved writing, loved using my imagination. And when I got married, it took me a couple of years, but I convinced my wife to let me buy my first handgun. It was a Glock 19. And even though I was married, out of the house, with 2 kids, I kind of kept it, the fact that I had a gun for my parents, because I didn't want that Jewish mom's guilt hanging over my head. So one night, we were by my parents for dinner, and my younger brother was like, "Hey, Yehuda, when can we go shoot your Glock?" And my parents went absolutely ballistic. I mean, we're talking about full-on Chernobyl. And kind of dawned on me, if I'm going to own a firearm, obviously there's a lot of responsibilities. Where's the best place to educate my children? So I went to the NRA's website. I found the Eddie Eagle program. But as I was going through it and, kind of learning about everything, I realized, I'm like, wait, there's so much more to gun safety besides run away, don't touch, run away, tell a grown up, right? So much more. And from there, I went to Amazon. I was like, okay, I'm just going to buy a book so I can read it to my children. And I was shocked to find that there were no books designed specifically for kids to read themselves about firearm safety. So one night I took out my cell phone and on my Apple Notes typed up the entire manuscript for the book. And I sent it to a buddy of mine in the LAPD. And I'm from Los Angeles originally, Texas now, but at the time I was in the LA. I'm sorry?
I said, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, I try not to talk about that so much anymore. But yeah, so he sent me back like a day later, just like this expansion of my book with constructive criticism and educational points and I guess proper lingo, verbiage, whatever you want to call it, of firearms ownership and firearm safety. Because again, I was just a went to the range once in a blue moon type of guy, but he really cut it down for me. And he lit the fire under me to get this book published. He said, "Hey, there's nothing like this. You need to get it published." And over the years, it took me 5 years to get my first book published, but I didn't give up, although there were many times that I wanted to. And that's how I got into writing children's books.
That is a very interesting. I think it's very good because you're right. There isn't any. And that's not the only children book that you have written.
Right.
You wrote the one I really like is, and I think more for the new shooter as well. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. Is one called the ABC of Guns, which I think is freaking phenomenal.
So ABCs of Guns was actually really interesting because what happens, we preach firearm safety to little children, but let's say you find a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old holding a handgun and you yell at him, he's kind of waving it around and you're like, before you can get a chance to grab it because he might be flagging you a little, you take your finger off the trigger. Well, doesn't a child have to know what a trigger is in order for him to take his finger off the trigger? So it kind of dawned on me, let's have a good time by teaching components of firearms to children so that they understand what everything is. But also as a parent with 2 little kids, I was kind of sick and tired of, A's for apple, X's for xylophone. So I kind of set out to do a fun ABC book for patriots and gun lovers, in order to educate their children.
but yeah, I mean, I really like it, and like I said, I think it goes way beyond children's stuff because there's a lot in here that a lot of adults, maybe the people not watching this show, most of them probably know most of the stuff, but outside, I think there's a lot of people that would actually do good.
Yeah, I've been told numerous times I need to send a copy of this book to CNN with little sticky notes on M is for magazine and C is for clips, so they can get the right understanding.
Yeah.
I'll buy that for $1.
That means someone just gave us a super chat, and that would be Flying Rich, who got a book. And yes, I will sign it. I'll bring it, and I will sign it. And some of the people who are in the book will actually be there. So there you go. Yeah, I love your books. I mean, I'm going to buy them for my kids, actually. So, do you have any other books coming out? I mean, I know you have one that's that one looks like it was funded by Second Amendment Foundation.
Yes, the Second Amendment Foundation did fund that one. Alan Gottlieb and his son Andrew, very early on, probably about 2.5 months after my book came out, I met them at the USCCA, Expo here in Dallas, and they immediately loved what I was doing. They took me under their wing. They really introduced me to a lot of people, so that when the ABCs of guns, when I needed to actually get that made, I actually approached them, said, "Hey, would you guys like to get a lifetime ad in a book that's never been done before? It'll cost this much. Would you like to sponsor the book?" And they were all for it, absolutely all for it. So they were great. 27 words, I'm incredibly proud of.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing this one up. I really, really like this one as well.
Because that one is, we take our kids shooting, we teach them to shoot, but at the end of the day, the reason why we teach them to shoot is because of the Second Amendment, which is 27 words. And without the 27 words of the Second Amendment, they're not going to be able, we can teach them as much as they want to be John Wick, but if they can't appreciate the freedoms we have, then, what's the point? So that's why I wrote 27 words, and I had two really amazing sponsors. I know you just passed it, but, the Firearms Policy Coalition, Brandon Combs there, he also absolutely loved what my mission was, trying to educate children. And he hooked me up with his organization. And then the other one, Tim Knight, is one of the very good people in our country today.
Yeah, Tim's actually been on the show.
Yeah, so Tim is, I'm really close with Tim, and so they did this, and yeah, and then I do have the Safety On book. I did convert to a coloring book as well, so that kids can actually visualize the ideas of gun safety, and internalize it. And then I know one book I actually did not send you because it's hard to get it in a PDF form. Where is it? There we go. 105 explosive gun jokes.
105 explosive gun jokes.
Yeah, and this is a book that is just a good me. And there's a podcast, a live show every Saturday night called Tundra Tactical, or Tundra Nation now, and the guy who started it is this guy Tyler Lindley, and I became close with him and his show writer, this guy Eric Jezierski. And Eric and I were talking. I'm like, "Hey man, listen, you are the most bland, boring sounding guy I've ever met in my life, but you are the funniest person I've ever met in my life." And I was like, "Let's write a joke book together." So we wrote this book. it's like you're all. I mean, I think I have like 1.5 or 2 stars on Amazon with that book, and people are like, "It's a horrible. These jokes aren't funny." I'm like, literally, the description on Amazon is like your ultimate corny dad joke book, right? So like, if you're going into it thinking that this is going to be like a Dave Chappelle skit, it's not. You're supposed to sit there and read these books and cringe. Like it's supposed to be to drive you crazy. So
they're dad jokes.
Yeah, they're the ultimate dad jokes on firearms.
Yeah, I had a couple friends that I used to work with back in the day, like 20 years ago, and there was like 4 of us. We all had the same sense of humor, which no one else ever got. And would be in a meeting, and one of us would say something. I used to work with them, and all 4 of us would just start cracking up laughing. There'd be like 50 people in this meeting, and they'd all be looking like, well, who said something funny? It was a weird sense of humor. Like we drove by a CarMax, and one of my friends who has the weird sense of humor, looked and he goes, "They must have a lot of employees over there." Talking about like all the cars that they have, like they're like the whole employees' cars, and we all thought it was hilarious. And the people that are with us were on a bus going to a baseball game for work, and they're all like looking at us, and we're all rolling. So I get I see what you mean.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. And then so those are the 5 firearms books I have. I do have one that is a political book that I wrote when I was writing for Ben Shapiro years ago.
I used to write for.
I did. I grew up with Ben. I've known Ben for over 30 years, and we grew up together. And before he started the Daily Wire, he had another website called Truth Revolt, and I was one of the, I guess I want to call it I don't want to say a founding member, but I was one of the first like 4 or 5 people he hired there originally to do video editing and helping other writers, but kind of morphed into me writing 1 piece a week, and then 2 pieces a week, and then 3 pieces a day for Truth Revolt. And I wrote another book called 10 Little Liberals. And it's a pretty brutal takedown of the liberal mentality when they meet conservative minds. It's like, what happens when liberals meet conservative ideas? So I don't push that one so much anymore. You can get it on Amazon. I'm very proud of that book. But because my focus has gone from politics as a whole, specifically to 2A advocacy, the Second Amendment is for everyone. So I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I wrote that book, but it's just something that I don't push so much at the moment.
Yeah. So you say Ben Shapiro. I don't know him. I've always wanted to meet him because we don't agree on everything, but we do agree that he's a freaking insanely talented debater. He will tear you up.
Yes. I will tell you, he is hands down the smartest person I've ever met in my life, by leaps and bounds. I mean, and it's because of his memory and the way he can just retain information and then regurgitate the facts on cue. But at the same time, and this is something that a lot of people don't know unless they know the behind the scenes, he is super, super humble and incredibly down to earth.
Yeah, I get that feeling.
I know a lot of people don't because they see him debating and he's all in your face and quick talking, and he talks very quickly, and he just kind of could be sarcastic in his answers when debating people. But at the end of the day, the guy has a heart of gold and just incredibly humble.
Yeah, there is a video on YouTube by a YouTuber named Freedom Tunes who does a bunch of like funny cartoons with like a conservative spin on it. And he did Ben Shapiro's family at Thanksgiving. And they're just arguing about like, they all sound like they're all talking really fast, and they're arguing about like every little thing about the potatoes and the turkey and cranberries.
I mean, I have to check that out because like I said, I know not only do I know Ben, I know Ben's parents well. I know Ben's siblings. So I got to check that out. I didn't know they did that. I'm familiar with Freedom Tunes, but I got to go check that out.
Yeah, I might be able to pull it up here. Why not? Because I think it would be worth it. Thanksgiving. Here it is, Freedom Tunes.
Freedom Tunes.
All right, it's only it's less than 2 minutes long, so might as well, right?
Do you talk fast always? Is
Yes.
like you're born this way? Is this
Yeah,
like
everyone in
how
my
you've always-
family, everyone in my family talks this
Your
way.
family.
This is awesome.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, folks, who made these cranberries? Honestly, these are the worst cranberries I've ever tasted. I made them, and it's actually extremely impolite for you to insult my cooking on Thanksgiving, okay, folks? Our taste buds don't care about your feelings, okay? Okay, gang, well, if you want to make your own cranberries, feel free, but you're not entitled to free food, and the idea that you would complain over quality of service when you're receiving it for free is just ridiculous, okay? Okay, could somebody please pass the mashed potatoes, folks? Actually, these are my mashed potatoes, okay? I made them myself, and they're therefore the product of my own labor. And the idea that you feel it's acceptable to put a gun to my head and force me not only to give you the mashed potatoes, but to actually have me pass them to you as well is absolutely asinine, okay? Okay, well, that would be a solid argument if not for the fact that you're eating asparagus, which I made, okay? Ben, how could you seriously not pass the mashed potatoes after taking her asparagus? Is it my fault she gave it away for free and lost all leverage? I'm trying to teach my child how to compete and succeed within the free market, okay, folks? Good gaga, folks. I didn't realize I was surrounded by communists. I have the mashed potatoes and the asparagus because I make good decisions, okay, folks? Honestly, Ben, you're the last person to get smart with me, considering you're the only one in the family to be born with an IQ lower than 300. Okay, well, you know what, Auntie? Believe it or not, some people consider an IQ of 215 to be relatively impressive, all right, folks? Sorry I'm late, folks. I had more important things to take care of. I'm actually a doctor. She's a doctor, folks. His wife's a doctor, folks. She's a doctor. My wife's a doctor. Did you bring the turkey? Gobble, gobble. Socialism works.
All right.
Hey, folks, thank you so much for watching. And Ben Shapiro, if you end up watching this, please understand.
That is, and basically they say they're a huge fan of Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, no, I have no doubts that they're a fan of Ben Shapiro. That's actually nothing like his family, but I mean, it is still absolutely hilarious.
That is that. Yeah, I mean, it's got Freedom Tunes is one of my guilty pleasures. I would say, because they're just so funny. I see Ghost Tactical out there. Do you know Ghost Tactical?
I know Trey very well. I've been on his show a bunch of times.
Yeah, Trey is good. You also do an Instagram show, or you do Instagram live.
If I find that there's something important that I want to talk about, or I feel that there's a guest that I want my followers to meet, I will do it. I don't necessarily have a set date or a set day for shows. I might go 3 weeks without going on one. Then I'll do 5 in a day. Like 5 days in a row. I'm sorry, but I do that. I do have a actual podcast coming out with a friend of mine named Jester's Tactical. He's based in Canada, so it's really fun because you get a Canadian who has his rights being stripped away daily, and then you have probably one of the only, if not the only, Orthodox Jew in the 2A advocacy world doing hopefully it's going to be a daily show. Think
You're gonna do a daily.
So what our hope is going to be is that we're going to be doing a variety type show based around firearms, and it's going to be, think like the SNL Weekend Update type of thing.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
But no, it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of different things in the works. We will have guests on talking to them, and it's just going to be and I'm sure you know this, John, is our industry takes themselves way too seriously.
Yeah.
But
then you have people like me that does a show with Funko Pop X-Men on their shirt.
Right, exactly. And here I am, an Orthodox Jew wearing a T-shirt that says "Gun control is not kosher," with a pig on it, right? So our industry takes themselves way too seriously, and it's something that drives me crazy. That's why whenever anyone asks me what my favorite gun company is, I straight up, without hesitation, say High Point. And I love High Point because they are the only firearms company in the country, probably in the world, that knows where they stand in the industry, and they love it, and they roll with it, and they own it. Exactly. They own it, and you can make fun of them, and they just throw it right back at you. They're not afraid of that, and that's why I love High Point, because they're just so much fun to deal with.
They made a gun that's Cerakoted in $100 bills.
I saw that.
Yeah, and they do all sorts of crazy. I like High Points. They're freaking indestructible, for one thing.
Well, right. So that's another thing, right? Like, they know their place in the industry. They know where they stand. Their guns work. They're indestructible. And there's people who buy them because they're incredibly affordable. Now, the question is, though, in my joke book, for example, I have a joke with a picture in it. Why does the Navy love High Points? And the answer, because they double as anchors.
Yeah,
now,
they're very, very heavy, and they're ugly.
I went to SHOT Show last year. I took a photo of the joke in my joke book in the High Point booth, and I tagged them on Instagram. Not only did they follow me, they reposted it and then made fun of me. And I'm like, that's why I love High Point, because they roll with the punches and they have a good time with it.
They're the Wendy's of the gun industry. I don't know if you get that reference or not.
Are you talking about the restaurant?
Yeah, if you ever attack them on social media, they'll come right back at you with.
They're brutal.
I know they're brutal, and I love it.
They're awesome. There's a few companies that are great out there, and Wendy's is definitely one of those companies that just they own everything, and they have no problem throwing it right back at you.
Yeah, and a lot of people now just attack them to get attacked.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of funny. But yeah, I like companies that do that. It's creative, and it's not taking yourself too seriously. I think you get more positive press if you have self-deprecating humor, because if you're out there saying, "Oh, our guns are the greatest, no one can touch them, they're not bad," and if someone comes along and say, "Oh, they're ugly" or whatnot, then it puts you in a situation. But if you're like, "Our guns are ugly," critics that come along and they're going to be like, "Well, we can't say that because they already said it."
Well, exactly. It's funny. Having a brand called the Pew Pew Jew, obviously, you can imagine the type of anti-Semitic comments I get, and I will tell you they're brutal. But if I happen to respond to one of these anti-Semitic messages, I always do it in a very joking manner. You own it, you own it, and the minute you try defending it is when they win. But if you can just own it and roll with the punches, people are respecting you, I believe, a lot more.
Well, you're probably going to get a lot of anti-Jew comments on this, not because that's my crowd. I made fun of Grandmaster Jay, and now all these Nation of Islam people are sending me messages. So.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot too. The big thing right now that I've been getting a lot of. I was told I'm not a real Jew.
Why?
Because I'm Jewish. The ish. It was from one of these black Hebrew Israelites. So I was told I'm not a real Jew. I'm Jewish. And then they went on to proceed to tell me that Jesus is the real Lord and stuff like that. And I'm like, you can believe that, but as a Jew, we don't believe that. So the fact that you're using Jesus to prove your point kind of cancels out any defense you have of being a real Jew. So no, I get that kind of stuff daily.
That's sad. That's really sad. The Jewish people have been through a lot, and I had somebody on from Jews for the Preservation of Firearm Rights or whatever.
Firearms ownership, yeah.
Firearms ownership, that's what it is. And they brought up a point that, the Jewish people should have a reason why they believe in the Second Amendment more than any other community out there.
Yep.
And I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about this. God, I can't even begin to tell you how that's probably the most common question I'm asked as someone who's in the forefront of 2A advocacy is why are Jews so anti-gun? And my thought behind that is, if you go, we have to take just a small step back into history. You have the 1800s, and you have Cossacks and pogroms and all these cities in Europe. And what happens is you have something called shtetls. Shtetls are little pockets of kind of in a bigger city. It's like a pocket of Jews where all the Jews live, right? They were called shtetls. But the problem is, if you had someone come in, let's say a Cossack would come in and kill somebody, if the Jews defended themselves and killed a Cossack, then you would have 100-fold and, more deaths than the Jews would happen. So a lot of the Jews in Europe would just kind of keep their heads in the sand, and whatever happens, happens. If one of us die, it's the way it is, and that's going to happen. Then you fast forward to the Holocaust. Obviously, I don't have to tell you what happened there. And then after that, you have all these Jews who've just been through hell for hundreds of years in Europe, and now they're moving to America, and they don't want to get involved with anything. They literally want to just keep their heads in the sand. America's the land of the free. It's not like Europe. So we're not going to do anything. We're just going to keep our heads down and not worry about anything. And then obviously over time you have assimilation, and you have, a lot of Jews becoming a lot more left-leaning. And then from there, they just tend to be anti-gun. That doesn't mean all, I'm not talking about a blanket statement. There's a lot of Orthodox Jews out there who are pro-gun, just don't want to have anything to do with them. There are a lot of Orthodox Jews that are anti-gun. Then you have, some Jews who are not Orthodox, who are either Reformed or conservative, but they're pro-gun. And then you have a lot of them also that are anti-gun. So that's what I think it is. It's just a matter of being conditioned over the years that if you try to defend yourself, you'll get, a greater reaction. So it's just not worth it.
Yeah. One of the things talking about like the Jewish people and stuff, my wife is a Euro. When I say Euro, she's Italian, from Italy. So I've spent a lot of time in Europe, not just in Italy, but like all over Europe. Traveling on vacation, we go to Greece, so wherever, Austria, wherever. And what a lot of people don't realize is that I'm not sure if you've been to Europe or not, but anti-Semitism in Europe is alive and well.
Yep.
And people don't realize that there seems to be more of acceptance of the Jewish population in the U.S. than a lot of places in Europe. Yeah,
definitely Jews are safer in America. I've been seeing a lot of articles, though, over the last 8-9 months of is America really the safest place for the Jews anymore? I'm like, yes, it is. I feel safer. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Okay, maybe you want to talk about should we move to Israel because Jewish homeland but at the same time, gun laws in Israel suck royally. I mean, they're horrible laws. So look, I carry a gun everywhere I go in Texas, right? When I travel around Texas, I have a backpack that has a very fun toy in it that if I have to shoot my way out, I have more than. I'm sorry?
A bag of doom.
A bag of doom, right? Exactly. You know, I have that in my, that I carry around. So it's just a matter of like, there was that hashtag going around a bunch of months ago, hashtag why I carry. Now, I'm not going to say that there's no anti-Semitism in America. In the last bunch of months, man, it's been rearing its head like crazy, especially when you have people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and all these. And also, I mean, look at the Democratic Party now. It's just
it's coming from the left wing. The Democrats, and I don't think that gets brought up a lot. That you have like Rashida Tlaib and Omar, like some of the stuff that she's tweeted out is, I mean, if Trump tweeted some of the stuff out, he would get crucified.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that with all that going on. I've had people tell me I should stop walking around with my yarmulke in Texas, and I'm like, I'm not
hiding.
I'm not hiding. I mean, someone wants to confront me. Hashtag why I carry. It's literally that simple. If I feel my life is in imminent danger, or my family's life, or if someone comes to my synagogue, I'm ready. Now, I hope it doesn't come to that, but at the end of the day, it's still safer in America than it is in Europe.
Yeah, it is, and I don't think a lot of people will realize that. I think a lot of it has to do with the media.
Yeah, but don't forget, Jews own the media, so they push. No, I'm kidding.
That old trope conspiracy theory.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, trust me, I'm not. I am not a conspiracy theorist by any means, but no, yeah, the media pushes pushes. I mean, that's what it is. The media just wants the ratings, and they don't care about who gets hurt in the process.
Yeah, it really is. What I can't figure out, talking about the conspiracy theories, why there's so many conspiracy theories about the Jewish people, and like you guys have like these meetings every Tuesday on Zoom to determine how to run the world, I don't know. I don't understand how they think this works. How they would even work.
Look, I'll say this, and this, God, this always gets me in hot water, but it is what it is. With any religion, with any race, I really don't care what it is. With any group of people, you have good ones and bad ones. Am I going to say that they're not Jews out there? I mean, look, Harvey Weinstein, I believe he's a Jew.
Yeah.
The guy's a scumbag and deserves to rot in hell for the rest of his life. And beyond.
But he's not that way because he's Jewish.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. And that's the problem is if a Jew does something bad, or if if a Jew does something wrong, bad, whatever you want to call it, all Jews are bad. All Jews are bad. One bad Jew represents the entire Jewish race or ethnicity, whatever you want to call it, religion, right? But at the end of the day, it's like that with anybody. Not all cops are bad. Not all African Americans are criminals. I mean, it's ridiculous that we judge a group based on the actions of individuals.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, it's a world that we live in. Basically, they judge groups on the act of individuals unless it seems like they're part of the group they want to push. Like mostly peaceful protests that burn down a police precinct.
Exactly.
Mostly peaceful protesters tearing up Portland. you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's why Did you see that post by the Babylon Bee? The one that said orcs gather at Minas Tirith for
All that.
for a peaceful protest, a mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah, I think Babylon Bee is one of the funniest newspapers out there.
Oh, they are. The first thing I read for news every morning is the Babylon Bee.
Yeah, the CNN attacked the Babylon Bee for spreading false news. then they printed. Then they did a screenshot of their logo. This is Babylon Bee, the best false news or whatever.
Oh man, Babylon Bee is just, they're awesome.
Yeah, they are the Onion for. If you don't know what the Babylon Bee is, the Babylon Bee is the Onion, but with a right-wing spin on it instead of a left-wing spin.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, they just make fun of everybody. I mean, they even make fun of Trump constantly, but it's funny. You know what I'm saying? They hit it on the nail every post.
Yeah. So a bunch of people are like, they should be shut down because they're spreading false news. It's like 99% of the people that share their stories know that it's satire.
Exactly.
It's like we lost this whole notion of satire can go either way.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, with High Point, right? I think our country has lost the notion that you can make fun of somebody without being mean. It's humor. It's humor.
Yeah. Oh my God. Get this. Rich just posted something that says, follow the Babylon Bee on IG and YouTube. I had to approve it because it blocked it for fake news.
Oh my God.
That's insane.
That's wild.
Wow. So YouTube, if you type Babylon Bee in a comment, it will hold the comment. That's freaking insane.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that's not going to show up over here, but Rich said follow Babylon Bee on IG, and that's one of the sites I do follow because it is hilarious, but I just can't believe that they YouTube blocked that. But there you go. There is a lot of false fact checking going on.
Oh yeah, a lot of that, and a lot of shutting down free speech going on.
Yeah, Snopes, for example. Snopes used to be like the best fact checking site out there, and ever since like 2016. They blocked certain things. Like they blocked something, and it was like, even though the picture is true, it was like a label on the side of a mask or something like that.
Right.
Even though that this is what the label does say, we disagree with what they wrote, and it's just like, what? No. You should say, yes, this is true. This is what the label says. Not give your personal dissertation on why you disagree with what was said, so you're going to mark it false.
Right.
Or like someone said something and they said it, but they misspoke, so we're marking it false. It's like, no, I want a fact checker that checks facts. No political spin. You check the fact. If the fact is true, okay. If they said it, but this is what they probably actually meant.
Yeah, that's not what they said.
Yeah, you're not there to try to interpret what they say. You're there to say yes or no. Because my interpretation of what they meant is definitely going to be different from them, because I lean more to the right. I'm more of a libertarian, and then more of a progressive.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of covering up for people, like even the Moms Demand Action people, there's a lot of covering up for them going on these sites.
Yeah. Moms Demand Action is constantly pushing false narratives, and no one is fact checking them.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that really pissed me off is I don't know why I got me so upset, but were you at the 2A rally in DC last year?
I was invited to speak. Unfortunately, it was on Saturday, so my Sabbath.
Sabbath, yeah. Well, I was there, and Shannon Watts, head of Moms Demand Action, tweeted out that the rally in DC looked like a white supremacist rally.
I remember that.
The majority of the people that spoke were people of color or women.
Yep.
Majority. White men were in the minority of speakers. So if that was a racist rally, then the people there were the shittiest racists ever.
Yeah.
They tried to claim that lobby day in Virginia where 20,000 plus people, tens of thousands of people, took to the streets with their ARs and every other gun under the sun, including a 50 cal Barrett, where there's no violence, it's peaceful, and everything, and it was actually cleaner than when we all got there. They claimed that was a white power rally, and if and there was people from all races, walks, and colors. There was a gay flag with the Gadsden rattlesnake on there.
I remember that.
And there was no Confederate flags. There's nothing like that. And yet they claimed it. On the 12th, I have the president of Black Lives Matter 757. He's going to come on and he's going to speak to that because he was there and he was asked, do you feel threatened being here? And he's like, absolutely not. He's like, everyone here has been nice to me. I have a Black Lives Matter shirt on, and no one's, tried to harass me. No one's tried to argue with me. Everyone's been very nice to me. I don't feel threatened at all. And in fact, that changed his mind so much, he's held 2A rallies. And on the 15th, there is a Black Lives Matter. The Black Lives Matter in Virginia is a little bit different from like the national movement. It's not as
Marxist
as the national organization. They actually have like no ties to the national organization now because they came out against Antifa and they came out as pro 2A. So they have
so they're kind of aligning a little more with the Maj Touré mindset.
Yeah, Maj is actually going to speak at their rally. And the Boog Boys are going to be there. The Boogaloo Boys.
Oh, are they?
Are going to be there, yeah. The Richmond mayor, after the whole riot thing happened in Richmond, they posted some pictures of the Boog Boys there. So the Boog Boys there were there to confront Black Lives Matter, and after Black Lives Matter left, that they caused all this destruction, and Black Lives Matter sent out a Instagram and Twitter and Facebook thing that says, this is a total lie. They weren't there in opposition with us. They were there to stand in solidarity with us. And they had nothing to do with any riots. And that was Antifa. And then so Antifa got all mad at them for beefing with them. Now it's a big mess.
It is. It's going to be very interesting to see the rest of 2020 and how everything pans out.
How do you think it's going to pan out for gun rights?
Well, if Trump wins, I think we're going to see riots that we've never seen before. The riots we've seen so far will be nothing compared to what we will see. Which will obviously just end up hurting, if you're looking for ammo or more guns, I mean, it will. If you think it's bad now, it'll be absolutely nothing left, zero. And then if Biden wins, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or paranoid, but if Biden wins, I mean, I can see us headed to a actual civil war. I know that might sound crazy, but you know,
crazy about a year ago, but now,
yeah, no, I mean, because if you think about it, you know, I mean, Biden's already talked about, you know, defund police and stuff like that, and what are you going to do if you have the president of the United States letting people run amok around the entire country? I mean, it will get to the point where, you know, I posted something on Instagram yesterday. It's going to get to that point where good and dangerous men it'll be time for them to do bad and dangerous things.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's something that I did a podcast on my old podcast. I used to do a podcast called Patriot News Podcast. We did one of our episodes. It was like back in like 2016, 2015. Will there be a civil war in the next 10 years? And I was like, well, you know, I would, because it's just that wasn't even on anyone's tongue. But I was like, looking at the way things are going, I was like, I definitely could see it. Because I started tracking these groups and everything since like 2004-ish. So I've been tracking them for like 10 years at this point.
Right.
Like, you got to realize what's coming.
No, for sure. And I mean, one thing's for sure, though, is, you know, if, let's say, we are headed for a civil war, I really do think that it won't be a long civil war. You've seen people on the news. There was that guy, you know, I forgot his name. The guy who ripped the AR-15 out of that guy's hands, who grabbed it from the burnt out police car. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm saying most of these people on the left are either not trained at all, and the minute bullets start flying, they'll tuck tail and run. They're not. They're all talk, and I don't believe. Now, not saying all of them. I do think that you'll have your stupid people, but I don't think it would last that long, and I really don't believe that the military will back Biden.
I hope not.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, if Biden or the Democrats win, it will not be good for anyone.
Yeah, no, 100%.
One of the last things I wanted to show, and I can't show it, damn it. Oh, man. Oh, well. In Pennsylvania, there is a huge GOA, join GOA billboard. Because join GOA today and have the gun owners out of Oregon. It says 60,000 PA gun owners don't vote. Register to vote and vote in November. So join GOA today and have a logo on there and everything else. You want to hear the crazy thing about it is? We didn't pay for it. We have no idea.
Really?
I have no idea who did it. No one told us they were going to do it. Just one of our Pennsylvania director was driving around and he's like, what the hell? He's like, where did this come from?
I mean, it's not bad for you guys. Saves you some
money. But you would think that someone would be like, hey, I bought you guys a banner.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking now, you know, I'm friends with Rachel Malone, so I really would like to get involved a little more. I'm friends with Rachel. I know Antonio. I know Antonio was in Colorado.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to get more involved. It's also not easy because I'm 3 hours away from the Capitol.
Yeah, I know that.
And I'm a father of 3, so it's not like little ones. Also, it's not like I can just, leave for a few. Yeah, I can't just drop everything to head out to Austin once a week. It's not. Doesn't really. I wish it were that easy.
Yeah, well, we got things for you to do. I'm sure Rachel has things for you to do.
Yeah, it's been a while since I talked to her. I'm gonna reach out to her again.
Yeah,
so
she's a good egg.
Yeah, she is.
All right. Anything that you want to plug before we get out of here?
If people want my books, they can go to Amazon. If they think my Herbie Hancock is worth $10, go to the pewpewjew.com and I will send you signed copies.
I will go there and sign copies. All right. Thank you so much. Let me just do the final plugs once again. Thank Gun Critic and Gun Streamer for sponsoring this podcast. If you want my book, you can get it at crumpy.com/giant. I have a patreon.com/John Crump. Every penny goes to my niece. Every penny of the book sales goes to my niece. Every penny of my super chats go to my niece. So whatever you do, book, whatever, it's all fundraising. And there's also a GoFundMe, crumpy.com, GFM. We do use the GoFundMe for people who want, but it's actually cheap. We actually get more money if you do one of the other ways, because GoFundMe kills you with processing fees. Super chats, $25, you get your signed book. Rich, you will get yours at the IV8888 shoot. Oh, that's one more thing. Are you going to the IV8888 shoot in October?
It's one of the things, again, most of it's on Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunately the like when I travel for the NRA show, for example, I'm there Sunday and I'm there Friday, and Friday and Sunday, and people always ask me like, well, the busiest day is Saturday. Why do you even come? I'm like, look, I have very strong belief in my religion and my God. If I'm meant to be successful, it'll happen on a Friday or a Sunday. But I do miss out on a lot because a lot of the things are on Saturdays. So it is what it is.
And give out your Instagram.
My Instagram is at the Pew Pew Jew.
Yeah, he puts up a lot of good content.
Yeah, so
I'm a follower, and you should be too. All right, well, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, anytime, man. If you ever have a need for a filler again, just
I'm sure we would have you. We'll have you back in the future.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
Right.
That is it. Thank you once again. I am going to play the outro video, and then we are going to get out of here.